I paid off my stepdaughter's debt as a graduation gift. Then my fiancée demanded I do the same for her ex. That's when I ended things for good. Hello Reddit I+ here. Let me tell you about the moment I realized my relationship was built on a lie, and how a graduation gift ended up unraveling my engagement. I'm 42, divorced once, and I was engaged to this woman named Karina, 39. We'd been together for about 3 years, and I really thought she was the one after my first marriage crashed and burned. She had this energy about her, funny, confident, beautiful. We both had kids from previous relationships. Her daughter Maddie was 23, and I have a son, Evan, who's 17. Now my relationship with Maddie wasn't instant, but over the years we built something real. She didn't call me dad or anything like that, but we bonded over music, business, life stuff. She's smart. She'd been working her butt off to graduate college while juggling 2 part-time jobs and living with us to save money. She had around $14,000 in student and credit card debt, most of it from trying to keep up with school and living expenses when her dad bailed on child support halfway through sophomore year. Fast forward to her graduation this past May. I was proud, genuinely proud. So I decided to surprise her by paying off every penny of her debt. I sat her down after the ceremony, handed her an envelope with the loan statement stamped paid in full, and she just broke down crying, hugged me tighter than I think anyone ever has. It felt right, like I'd done something truly meaningful. But Karina? Her face that night told a different story. I brushed it off at first, chalked it up to wedding stress. We were about 3 months from our planned date. But the next day, she asked if we could talk. And I swear to you, I still remember exactly how it went. She said, "It was really generous what you did for Maddie. But it's going to look unfair if you don't do something for other important people in our lives. Like, maybe helping Jason a bit?" I blinked. "Jason?" I asked. "Your ex-husband?" She nodded, like it was a completely normal thing. "He's been going through a hard time, and I know he's behind on rent and some credit cards. It's not that much. Maybe $10,000. It would help him get back on his feet." I laughed at first. I actually thought it was a joke. But no, she was serious. I asked her flat out, "You want me to pay off your ex-husband's debt? With my money?" She tilted her head, like I was the one being irrational. "It's not about the money. It's about showing support. You've always said family is important. Well, like it or not, Jason is part of mine." I'll admit, I lost my cool a bit. He abandoned you and Maddie. He hasn't paid child support in years. He's the reason Maddie had to drown in credit card debt in the first place. And she said, "People change. He's trying. And besides, if you're going to play the hero, you can't just pick favorites." That line, it hit me sideways. Because what she saw as playing the hero, I saw as doing what a parent should do when someone they love is struggling. I told her no, firmly, and that's when things went nuclear. She accused me of using money to manipulate people and trying to buy Maddie's loyalty. She said I was playing daddy to win points. I didn't say anything right then. I just walked away, took a drive, thought about everything, from the snide comments she'd made when I paid for Maddie's books last year, to how often she minimized the relationship I had with her daughter. I realized something. Karina didn't love that I treated Maddie like my own. She resented it. 3 days later, I called off the engagement. It wasn't just about the money. It was about what it represented. She wanted me to bankroll her ex, not because she cared about him, but because she couldn't stand watching someone else benefit from my love if it wasn't all directed at her. She didn't want a partner. She wanted control. It's been 5 months now. The wedding deposits are gone. My house is quieter. Evan notices. Maddie still stops by once a week, brings groceries, helps me cook, tells me about her job hunt. Last week she told me she got hired full-time. First person she called was me. She said, "I couldn't have done this without you, and honestly, that's the only validation I needed. I may not be her real dad, but I showed up when it counted. And Karina? She's back with Jason. I guess I really did pay off his debt, just not the way she expected. You'd think ending an engagement would be this big dramatic thing. Suitcases thrown downstairs, someone screaming on the front lawn, the works. But with Karina, it was cold, clinical, like she'd just been waiting for me to make the move so she could drop the act. She didn't cry, she didn't beg. She just shrugged and said, "Guess I should have known you'd pick her over me." And that told me everything. I remember saying, "You know what's funny, Karina? I thought I was building a family, but you were just building a power structure, one where you always stayed on top." She said nothing. She just went into the bedroom and started packing. While she packed, I went into the garage and sat in the silence for a while. That kind of silence that feels thick, not peaceful, just full of everything unsaid. Full of the realization that I had been loving someone who didn't know what love actually was. It was almost 1 a.m. when Maddie called. She had no idea what had happened. She said, "Hey, I know it's late, but I just wanted to tell you I got a second interview at that place downtown." I hesitated before answering. Then I just said it. "Maddie, your mom and I broke up tonight." There was a pause on the line. Then she said something that still gets me. "I was wondering how long you were going to let her keep stomping on your heart." I asked, "You knew?" She let out this sad little laugh. She hated how close we were. Always has. She once told me you were just a phase. I knew when you paid off my debt, she'd find some way to turn it into poison. That was the first night I slept alone in that house. No Karina. No noise. Just me and my thoughts. And Maddie came by the next day with coffee and muffins, like she knew I wouldn't have the energy to make breakfast. She didn't even ask what happened. She just hugged me and said, "You deserve someone who actually sees what you do." Now here's the kicker. 2 weeks after Karina moved out, I got a call from a mutual friend of ours, Jessica. She used to be in a book club with Karina. She calls me and says, "Hey, not my business, but I thought you should know. Karina's back with Jason." I blinked. Like, back? Jessica hesitates. Then says, apparently they'd been seeing each other for months, on and off. She told people they were just talking, but yeah, I swear the room spun a little. All the weird late-night texting, the sudden I'm going to the gym trips when she never exercised, her snapping at me when I asked innocent questions. It all clicked. She hadn't just wanted me to pay Jason's debt. She had been testing whether I was willing to fund her backup plan, and that's when anger gave way to this weird sort of peace, because I realized I'd dodged the kind of bullet that could have shattered me long-term. She didn't want to marry me. She wanted to merge my life into hers like I was a line item on a spreadsheet. Assets, check. Stability, check. Emotional support for her daughter, check. Bailout fund for her ex, check if he plays nice. These days I spend a lot more time with Evan and Maddie. Maddie even calls me her bonus dad now. It started as a joke, but it stuck. And Evan? He's more talkative. I think he sensed the tension between Karina and me even before I did. Kids are smart like that. I haven't heard from Karina since she moved out. Not once. No, I miss you. No attempt to reconcile. Which tells me all I need to know. Maddie texted me just last week. Got my first paycheck. Guess who's officially debt-free and employed? I told her, "That's all you, kid. I just helped clear the path. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm just free."